2024, reaching you live from Abuja, Nigeria's capital city. I am Musbah and Wahab. Thanks a lot for joining us. Let's see the headlines. 2023 presidency, more aspirants indicate interest as Governor Umahi of Ebonyi State declares intention to run.
That I will be running for presidency on the platform of APC.
Federal government orders national flag to fly at half-mast in honor of late Chief Shonekan. President Buhari endorses establishment of Nigerian Diaspora Investment Trust Fund. Super Eagles win first group game against Pharaohs of Egypt at AFCON. Thanks a lot for staying tuned in. Following the death of a former head of the interim government, late Chief Ernest Shonekan, GCFR President Muhammadu Buhari has directed the national flag to be flown at half-mast, effective from Wednesday 12th to Friday 14th January 2022, as a mark of respect for the former head of state. And our correspondent Oyeyemi Ajayi has gone round the capital city to see the level of compliance to the directive and also feel the mood of the city following the demise of a Nigerian leader. Oyeyemi Ajayi, what have you learned?
All right, thank you very much, Musbah. You could remember that yesterday the federal government announced that national flags should be flown half-mast across the country, and different places we visited, we could see that some of the flags, some people have complied to these, and the reasons could not be far-fetched as the fact that this directive is coming because in honor of the former head of interim government, Chief Ernest, who died at the age of 85, and like I've said, different places we visited, some have obliged to these while many are yet to. And talking about the mood is just normal. Everybody going about their different duties, just normal. Nothing too different from that.
All right, thank you very much, Yemi. Now, President Muhammadu Buhari has expressed a profound sadness over the news of the death of a former head of the interim national government, Chief Ernest Shonekan. The president extends the deepest condolences to Chief Shonekan's wife, Margaret, loved ones, as well as the government and people of Ogun State. As an internationally respected statesman, President Buhari affirms that with courageous wisdom, Chief Shonekan left his flourishing business career to become the head of government at a delicate time when the country needed someone of his calm manner and pedigree to save the ship of the state from sinking. President Buhari believes that Nigeria owes a great debt to Chief Shonekan, the peacemaker, who even at the twilight of his life never stopped believing and working for a prosperous and democratic country. As a nation was thrown into mourning following the death of former head of a 1993 three-month-old interim national government of Nigeria, Chief Ernest Shonekan, Adebola Brookslyn Sunday, tells us more about the man who succeeded former military president General Ibrahim Babangida.
Late Chief Ernest Oladende Shonekan, GCFR, the Abese of Egbaland, was a Nigerian lawyer and statesman who served as the interim head of state of Nigeria from 26 August 1993 to 17th November 1993. Prior to his political career, Shonekan was the chairman and chief executive of the United African Company of Nigeria, a vast Nigerian conglomerate, which at the time was the largest African-controlled company in sub-Saharan Africa. Late Shonekan was one of 6 children born into the family of an Abeokuta-born civil servant on 9th May 1936 in Lagos State.
Be faithful and bear true allegiance.
Late Shonekan came into limelight on January 2nd, 1993, when he assumed office simultaneously as head of Transitional Council and head of government under former head of state Ibrahim Babangida.
We must continue to give priority attention to the monumental challenge of improving the material well-being and economic welfare of our teeming populace.
At that time, the Transitional Council was designed to be the final phase leading to a scheduled handover to an elected democratic leader of the Third Nigerian Republic. In August 1993, Babangida resigned from office following the annulment of the June 12 elections. He then signed a decree establishing the interim national government led by Chief Ernest Shonekan, who was subsequently sworn in as head of state.
He wasn't a politician. He was a bureaucrat to the core. So he never played politics with his job. He was just plain, professional and providing the necessary leadership.
During his few months in power, he tries to schedule another presidential election and a return to democratic rule.
To reassure our foreign partners that Nigeria's commitment to the important elements of the New World Order, particularly democratization, should not be in doubt.
His government was hampered by national workers' strike. Opposition leader Moshood Abiola viewed Shonekan's interim government as illegitimate, which was backed by a Lagos state court.
In spite of the political warfare that follows his acceptance of that role after the annulment of June 12 election, he still remained a complete gentleman. What struck me about him is that he was not one man that would want to deliberately hurt anybody. And he comported himself. He was aristocratic in nature.
As the head of state, he released some political prisoners detained by the regime of former President Ibrahim Babangida. In November 1993, 3 months into his administration, Shonekan was overthrown in a palace coup by General Sani Abacha.
The interim national government is hereby dissolved. The national and state assemblies are also dissolved.
In 1994, he founded the Nigerian Economic Summit Group, an advocacy group and think tank for private sector-led development of the Nigerian economy.
We had this meeting with them. I was taking my notes, and Chief Shonekan just told them point blank. He was a point blank person. He really believed that government must not be everywhere and everything, that agencies too, those working in government too, can increase their revenue.
Since he left office, Chief Shonekan assumed a position of an elder statesman and recently paid a special visit to President Muhammadu Buhari. He was the 3rd oldest surviving Nigerian head of state by age after former head of state General Yakubu Gowon. Adebola Brookslyn, NTA News.
President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan, mourns the former head of the interim national government, Chief Ernest Shonekan. In a statement, Senator Lawan condoles with Chief Shonekan's family, the government and people of Ogun State over the death of a former Nigerian leader. The Speaker, House of Representatives, Femi Gbajabiamila, has also described the death of a former head of Nigeria's interim government as a painful loss. In a statement, Gbajabiamila said Chief Shonekan's death has created a vacuum among the League of Elder Statesmen in the country and recalled how Shonekan was called to serve his fatherland at a critical time in Nigeria's history, noting that the late elder statesman did so with patriotism, zeal, and commitment. Ogun State's Governor Dapo Abiodun has also joined in mourning late Chief Shonekan. He described the death of the Egba-born British-trained lawyer, industrialist and traditional chief as a colossal loss to Nigeria, noting that his death has created a huge vacuum in Nigeria and Egbaland. Governor Abiodun prayed to God to grant the soul of the deceased eternal repose and comfort his immediate family and the Egba Traditional Council. Meanwhile, General Abdulsalami Abubakar has described late Shonekan as a committed Nigerian, a patriot, and gentleman who gave his all for the betterment of Nigeria. And similarly, an All Progressives Congress APC chieftain Bola Tinubu has commiserated with Governor Dapo Abiodun of Ogun State, Mrs. Margaret Shonekan, and the people of Ogun State over the passing of a former head of interim national government's Chief Ernest Shonekan. In a condolence message, Tinubu said the country has lost another important elder statesman, a man of peace who tried to bring unity and concord during one of the nation's most trying moments and will be remembered as a peacemaker. Now, just so you know, that's the news at 10 on NTA News 24 will continue on DSTV channel 261 and 419, as well as GoTV, NTA News 24, and NTA International. And now to politics, as Governor David Umahi of Ebonyi State has indicated interest to contest the 2023 presidential election on the platform of the governing APC. Already, the governor has notified President Muhammadu Buhari of his ambition, which he described as well thought out. State House correspondent Adam Musambo reports.
Governor Dave Umahi is making known his presidential ambition to President Muhammadu Buhari barely 24 hours after the former Lagos State Governor, Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu, had done so. The Ebonyi governor, who defected to the governing party in November 2020, had told the president of his desire to carry on with his legacies.
Without prejudice to whatever will be the decision of the party which we shall all abide by, I believe that with what I put in place in the past 6 years plus, that I will be running for presidency on the platform of APC. So I told him, and of course, he believes that whoever that wants to run for president of this country must have to consult widely, and we must do everything to remove ethnicity and our religion in our polity so that this country can grow. God willing, if it's God's will and the wish of the people of this country, Umahi's presidency will be looking at, the same thing we did in Ebonyi State. And it's all about patriotism. It's all about fear of God. It's all about bringing, experience to bear. I have a lot to give in terms of how to run governance as business. We also believe strongly that we will be able to, continue with what Mr. President has done.
Governor Dave Umahi, who is also the chairman of the Southeast Governors Forum, also discussed with the president issues relating to the security situation in the Southeast, suggesting the need for political solution as the best way forward.
Political solution does not terminate the judicial process. And if you know Mr. President very well, he has always said, and he has always demonstrated that he wouldn't interfere with any judiciary, process. Everybody knows him for that. But you remember very well that if agreement is reached, between parties, and you don't expect Mr. President to be the negotiator, there are a lot of, federal government, officials. And so I believe strongly that Southeast, that proposing for political solution should be able to engage the federal government. After all, there's always what is called out of court settlement. But it's for, our people and, our brother Kanu to be willing, for us to truly engage so that we can find true peace in our region.
Meanwhile, the governor had told journalists that President Muhammadu Buhari will be visiting his state to inaugurate some landmark infrastructure projects executed by his administration.
We have completed 13 twin flyovers, each one going between 300 meter length to 500. That's each of the twin flyovers. We are doing the next 2 flyovers. We have completed a mall that is not like any other mall in the entire West Africa. We've completed the best university in this country, which we tagged, University of Medical Sciences. Mr. President will also be commissioning his, very uncommon flyover complex, which he laid the foundation stone.
The presidential state visit to Ebonyi is tentatively fixed for the 15th of March this year. From the State House, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
Still from the State House, President Muhammadu Buhari has formally endorsed the establishment of a Nigerian Diaspora Investment Trust Fund, a private sector investment window for Nigerians in the diaspora to directly support investment in the country. This was while receiving a compendium entitled Plus 600 Diaspora Icons at 60, published by the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission. All right, we'll bring that to you in our subsequent bulletins. This is still the News at 10 on NTA News 24. Let's take a break. The news continues in just a moment. Thanks a lot for staying with us. Ahead of the proposed February 2022 National Convention of the All Progressives Congress, APC, stakeholders have commenced 2022 National Convention. Salihu Gwanara reports that APC rebirthed a youth organ of the party organized a stakeholder summit in this regard in Abuja.
Even if you have it.
This convergence of members of the progressive family is the first major political activity in the year 2022 by stakeholders of the APC in Abuja. Participants say the summit seeks to put the party on a solid ground and remind members of the need to adhere to the progressive ideology ahead of the leadership recruitment exercise.
It's a question of identifying key issues and sit down and extract some guarantees that they will run the business, whoever emerge will run the business of the party based on those guarantees.
We want to be actively involved in how the leadership is made. We want to be actively involved in how our future is being discussed or being implemented.
It's work in progress, and this time around they will be more involved and they will be given that sense of belonging and they will be carried along.
The youths, particularly those in politics, have been reminded to place national interest above other interests for political and economic development of the nation moving forward. Saliu Gwanara, NTA News.
Still on politics, the National Reconciliation Committee of the All Progressives Congress, APC, has promised to reconcile all sides in the dispute within the state chapter of the party in Kwara State. The Senator Abdullahi Adamu-led committee made this known during the visit to the state governor, Abdurrahman Abdurrazak, on arrival in Ilorin, the state capital. Raliat Ibrahim reports.
The visit of the National Reconciliation Committee, led by Senator Abdullahi Adamu to Osun State, was to ensure fairness, equity, and justice among party members.
We'll take the spirit of the submissions that were made to us by the petitioners and the spirit and construction of the responses that we got. By the grace of God, we will take the steps that will strengthen this party, strengthen this administration, and not the opposite.
During the visit to the government house in Osogbo, leadership of the party in Osun responded and defended allegations of alienation raised by dissenting members of the party, known as the Osun Progressives, TOP. The governor expressed confidence in the ability of the National Reconciliation Committee to resolve all differences in the party with equity and fairness.
I want to say that the people who consider themselves as top, they have every right to come back to the party. We're not saying no to them coming back. All we're saying is please show sincerity of purpose. We should work together in the interest of our party, in the interest of our government, and the interest of the state.
Leaders of the party affirmed their commitment to unity and progress of APC in Osun. The committee had earlier met separately with aggrieved party members. In Oshogbo, Femi Afayogun, NTA News.
And now from launching new projects to improving the welfare of officers and ratings, 2021 was the year the Nigerian Navy expanded its operations under a new leadership to reassert itself as a force to be reckoned with in Africa's maritime domain. Defense correspondent Najatu Tijani has an excerpt of a review of the Nigerian Navy's first quarter in 2021.
From acquiring new platforms, launching collaborative projects, and reducing piracy in the Gulf of Guinea, to promotions and enhanced welfare packages for officers and ratings, the year 2021 was full of scalable operations as the Nigerian Navy tried to reassert itself as a dominant leader in Africa's maritime domain. January 29, 2021 heralded a new beginning in the Nigerian Navy leadership. Like the first month of the year, it was a time for many firsts. Shortly after taking over from his predecessor, Vice Admiral Ibokite Ibaz, the new chief unveiled his vision and mission statement to reposition the Nigerian Navy as first among equals, in line with President Muhammadu Buhari's vision.
Hinged on cooperative maritime security framework as envisaged in the 2013 Yaoundé Protocol to arrive at strategies that will help address the maritime insecurity for enhanced economic prosperity in the region.
To achieve this vision, the naval chief would focus on key drivers, including personnel welfare towards enhanced integrity, productivity, and dedication, human capacity development through results-driven training for enhanced professionalism, and logistics support and maintenance to keep platforms and equipment in top condition. Fast forward to March 5, 2021, when the naval chief was promoted to the rank of Vice Admiral alongside other service chiefs led by the Chief of Defense Staff, barely 2 months after their appointments. The first quarter also saw the redeployment of more than 200 senior officers to various naval units, the inauguration of projects, and forging new partnerships with various organizations within and outside the maritime domain. Expect a review of the second quarter for Nigerian Navy operations next. Najatu Tijani, NTA News.
Right, away from security, now the fight against corruption has continued to record a remarkable boost as the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, recovers more monies. This is disclosed in continuation of a review of the Commission's operational activities for the year 2021.
From securing the highest number of convictions since the inception of the Commission to the recovery of more than 150 billion naira, the year 2021 was a giant stride for the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC. The Commission also recovered more than $300 million and more than £1 million between in the year just concluded. A statement by the head of media and publicity of the Commission, Wilson Uwajirin, says the recovery basket included digital currency components. The Headquarters Operation Command dominated recovery with more than 67 billion naira, followed by the Lagos Command, which led naira recoveries with more than 70 billion naira, while Kaduna Zonal Command emerged third in terms of recoveries. Giving an overview of the Commission's performance, the Executive Chairman, Abdulrasheed Bawa, explained that the recoveries are direct and indirect for the different tiers of government, corporate organizations, and individuals.
Right, the United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres has officially announced that Amina Mohammed of Nigeria will continue as the Deputy Secretary General of the World Body for another term. Adebola Brooksland Sunday reports.
Amina Mohammed solemnly declared and promised to exercise.
In January 2017, United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres swore in Nigeria's Amina Mohammed as Deputy Secretary General of the global body. Shortly after the UN General Assembly reappointed Antonio Guterres for a second time in June, the UN scribe said Nigeria's Amina Mohammed will serve with him for a second term. During a media chat in New York, the United Nations spokesperson Stephen Dujarric said the formal confirmation of Amina Mohammed followed her successful first tenure, recognizing her contributions in the UN robust response to socio-economic effects of the COVID-19 crisis.
Ms. Mohammed's leadership helped advance a conceptual shift from the UN that member states called for in adopting the Sustainable Development Goals. The Secretary General expressed his appreciation for the Deputy Secretary General's leadership of the UN Sustainable Development Group and her determination to reinforce the collective results and maximize the impact of the UN development system.
The global body also sympathized with Nigeria on the recent attacks in Zamfara State.
He extends his heartfelt condolences to the bereaved families. The Secretary General urges the Nigerian authorities to spare no effort in bringing those responsible for this heinous crime to justice. The Secretary General reaffirms the solidarity and support of the United Nations to the government and people of Nigeria in their fight against terrorism, violent extremism, and organized crime.
President Muhammadu Buhari had vowed that the federal government will not relent in the current military operations to get rid of those who have been terrorizing innocent people. Adebola Brooksland, NTA News.
You're still watching the News at 10 on NTA News 24. When we return, reactions are Super Eagles win first group match at AFCON.
The chance still might be here for Ian.